where we are going to look for cycles in the financial assets. And as you can see here at the agenda, we're going to look for cycles in different financial assets I've written, and actually we would only look at two, but and mainly silver, just for making it easy, and can take more if we want later on. The next seminar is going to be where we combine everything we have gone through and then make some more advanced analysis, how to trade, and we can take more from cycles into that. You will learn how to find cycles and finally how to read the cycles and what they predict for the future. And just here to say that this is for educational purpose. So if I may say something about I would buy, sell, whatever here, don't take it as a solicitation for buying or selling. It's my personal view, and I just use it for educational purpose. So let's go on. Now we do it this way. This one is just to show that you are able to buy stuff that can make cycle analysis for you. They are pretty expensive. They cost up to several $100 a year, and they are, in this case, it's from the study of cycles. They have this cycle builder, and it's pretty advanced, but it does most things for you. But it's a nice system, and it can help you short term, but pretty expensive. And the reason why I'm taking this is because you can do it yourself, and it's pretty easy, in my view, to do it. And here you can see you have silver as the one. The dominant cycle you can see here is 128. That is this one you see down here, going up and down. And the other one is all the active cycles that is in the market right now. And you can see they're pretty much, a lot of them. And when you do a combination up here for the five most dominant, you get this cycle, and you can see it captures the upswings and downswings pretty well. But let's try to move on. So this is a normal chart you would look at for silver, what I do when I going to find cycles in something like this, I always go for the most extremes. And when you find cycles, you're always going to find bottoms. Not that it doesn't work with tops, but bottoms is clearly the best, and they give the best cycles. So the one you had in March 2020 is the one that we will work with, and then see if we can find a cycle that is looking like something that we can work with. So if we take the next one, you can see I have from this bottom in March 2020 to this one in almost October, in September 2020. And that is 137 bars, 191 days, if you count the calendar days. But it seems like this, if you just take those 2 points, and then you can see going forward that it's pretty good and catches the next bottom too. So this might be the one that we would like to work with. So what I have done now, I've extended it to the left too, same cycle length. So and this is the way that you should do it. It should be pretty simple to do it this way. And as you might see, that it's not always that it catches the bottoms. Sometimes they catch the top, and then and in those cases, we'll come back to those a bit later. We call them inversions, but let's take that a bit later, because I will go to talk about them. They are not that interesting, but they have some meaningful. Hi, Marilyn. I can see. Okay, another way you can use to pinpoint the cycles is by using the RSI. It's just a standard 14 days in this case, or 14 weeks. This is the days, but as you can see here again, I find the bottom from the RSI, and the next bottom is over here in just around October. And just by, you can see that you would always get almost the same bottoms in the RSI. So pretty neat. So this cycle works for the silver, and we can work for this. And what it does now is, when I've plotted it in like this in my system, it just continues out there indefinitely. So I would be able to see when is the next bottom in this coming up. If we go back to the this one, you can see this too goes into the future, but only for about a month to 2 months ahead, and then it stops, and then it waits for the next one to come. The dominant cycle will continue as the one that I have done. So what I have made here is more like the dominant cycle and not the active cycles, and made some more advanced cycles from this. And you can see in this case with 128, it actually here you have the top of the cycle and not the bottom, as it should have been in my view. So this would be an inversion when you catch the top of a cycle and not the bottom, as this should have been. So I think that the 137 bars is a better call than the 128. So what I have done now is that I have added in a cycle. My system has a possibility to make a half cycle, so it looks more like a cycle. But what I find them through these lines here, and they have the same length, so I can just add in these half cycles because they help me when I want to find this should be a bottom, and halfway here should be a top, and that makes pretty good sense. And then to the next bottom over here, and that's important when we go on to see the half cycle. It's important, and I will show you later on why. If the prices peak to the left of the half cycle or to the right of the half cycle, and that has consequences and help us predict the future going on from there. So now we have found a pretty valid cycle here, 137 bars, going from March 2020, and we can see here in this case, yeah, we had a top here, but it actually continues up here and tops to the right of the half cycle, and then moves lower. Sometimes it can continue, as you see it here, almost into the next cycle, and if it does that, you have an inversion here, and we get into that in a second. So here I just said that every time you have the green line here, you have a bottom, and every time you have the red one, you should look for a peak, and the peak can, as I said, it can be to the left or it can be to the right. So when it's to the right, as it is here, you should expect a continuation of this normally. This was a bit extreme because of the corona, but as you see here, this should be an indication of continuation of the uptrend that has started here. So this is an indication that this market is just now going sideways and then should follow higher when this is complete. Okay, and as you can see here, this should be a bottom, this should be a top, but here we have a bottom at the middle, and we have a top here when it should be when it should be a bottom. So those are called inversions. They doesn't always have to be important, but what they does when you have a series like this one, they indicate that you are in some kind of sideways non-trending environment, and you shouldn't take this too as a very important signals on this ones. But when you get this one, then certainly the inversions, you have 5 of those here, and when it turns down to suddenly move away from the inversion, that is normally a good sign that now that we are back in the cycle, and then it should actually act as a bottom here. And then, yeah, of course, I've found it, but and made it from this one, but now we should and it looks like it works going forward. So this cycle should now continue to be able to pick up where you have bottoms and where you have potential peaks in the future. So, and you can see here, I've just added in where I said this should be the ideal peak area in a cycle, and that is to the right of the middle of this cycle I have here. When you have a peak in that area, that would normally indicate that this is an uptrend, and it would continue after a period of consolidation, as we have here from mid August, about August here, and now this has just moved sideways. And when this is complete, you should see the market move higher again. And I think that if you just listen to the market chatter right now, everybody is looking for silver to move higher at some point, and this is also what the cycle is telling us, that this after this consolidation, silver should continue up in a new uptrend like this one. Okay. So here I have taken a longer picture, still silver, gone back to 2011, and you can see here you have the cycles. They're actually the same cycles as we just picked up, and you can see they still works pretty nice here. Actually in 2016 we catches the bottom perfectly, moves up here into an inversion here because we go into the end and then declines, but still it works. But if we go here to this 2011 cycle here, you can see that instead of peaking to the right, it actually peaks to the left, indicating that we could be entering a downtrend from here. So this could be the completion. And if you have, for instance, the RSI indicator indicates that you might be having divergence, indicating that the uptrend is losing momentum. That would be a strong warning signal when it peaks to the left in the cycle. And of course, you don't know before the cycle has done, but if you see it pretty early and you can see, okay, this should be a bottom and it peaks right after, still in the left side, you should be aware this could be a potential dangerous situation, and a major top could be in place for a while. And the longer that the uptrend has lasted, you should expect at least a similar period of time where the market is moving down or sideways. So and you can see this was a pretty and you know that, of course, from history, that this was a long-term peak, and only and we might be moving back towards this once that this period of consolidation is complete. Then we could move back up to this target near $50. Okay. So any questions regarding this at this point? So let's take them if you have some. If you have any questions, then just write them in. If everything is clear, then we will move on, because this is going to be a pretty short one, because this I would like to say that cycles should not stay as your only thing that you determine what you are going to do. This is a helping tool. It's giving you an indication where do you have important where may we have important tops, where may we have important bottoms, and don't use it as the single tool. You should use them in combination. And as I said, when we're going to the next seminar in mid-July, I would go to add all of those seminars, webinars we have had now into a more complex and advanced trading strategy, how to use all of those. And if you know my work from what I do on the daily basis on InstaForex, you see that sometimes I show those cycles and I use them more as an indication for me, where am I, and how does it fit together with the other tools that I use, and could this be important at that point? And so we will go more with that in a later stage. So here I just want to show you from Bitcoin. Actually, I did the same. I took this point over here where it was the lowest, and then found the next cycle going back here. So these two, and then just made it from there, and it seems to catch all the bottoms pretty good. So that's nice. And again, you have here, if the market peaks to the left of the half cycle, then you are most likely going into a downtrend or a correction in that period. And you can see it here in 2018, 17, 18. It peaked here to the left, and we went into a decline until almost 2019, and then started to uptrend. And this one peaked right in the middle, so indicating that after this correction, more would come to the upside. And now we have seen it go up and peaking in to the right, indicating that more uptrend will follow once this correction is complete. And actually, you can see now that it says that this week we just left was the actually bottom. And now we should expect the market to start to move higher again. It has worked well the other time, so we should expect it to move up and then a deep correction and then further to the upside. And I would expect this peak here near 64,000 to be eclipsed at one point and go closer to about 79,000. Actually, I had a post on this in the Forex analytics universe just a couple of days ago. So this should likely be the bottom down here, and we should start to move higher. So any questions? No questions right now. Is there anything you want me to explain more in details from this? Okay, it doesn't seem that we have any questions this time, so let's leave it at that. I will be back in mid-July. Yeah, maybe there is a question. Let me hear. Yes, Andrea? Yes, of course, Andrea, just shoot. The system I use is TradingView. You can actually get this for free. The more advanced and the more different things you enter into it, you have to upgrade it. But as a free tool, it's very good. I would just enter the name here. It's TradingView. So view.com, and you can use that. I know that InstaForex has this MT4, MT5, and I would actually expect that you could do something similar at this, but I have used this for many years, and I'm pretty happy to use this. So. And it gives me all the variation that I want to work with. So, and I find it super simple to work with. And it's, for me, it's pretty intuitive. Yeah, I can see MT4 has the same. Yeah, so it should be, everybody should be able to do this in a pretty simple way. Should be no, it shouldn't be difficult to do this. Again, this here was created from just going back here, from just pinpointing those two lows, and then just if you want to confirm it, just confirm them with the RSI that they actually are lows, and then now you have a cycle here. You can have a shorter cycle put into this. You can have maybe 2, maybe 3. I can already see now that with 137 bars, it wouldn't be possible to divide them in 2 without this being screwed. So if you want to, you can move it to 140, it will still be okay, and then you can have a half cycle of that. And actually, I would expect the half cycle to go something like this over here, and you can see now you would catch this as an uptrend. The middle would be around here, and then it continues up to peak in the right hand side, followed by this would be the middle. So this should be, if you have the half cycle of this should be a bottom, and then continues up again, and once again peaks to the right. So that would be a possibility to do that. On my screen, I have it in this way with a shorter cycle too, but it's not necessary, and it's pretty easy to work with it this way. Any more questions? No, I don't have any specific indicators for cycles. I'm pretty sure you can add different or specific indicators into this. I know that some systems has more in-depth cycles tools than TradingView, and likely also MT4, but then you're in a totally different price class. And I would recommend, if you are at InstaForex platform, it would be easier for you to use the MT4 or have this as a standalone, and both ways it works fine, and especially when you can do the same on the MT4 platform, I would do that. I wouldn't go to this other than if I wanted to just have a system where I can do something different while looking at the InstaForex platform. Any other questions? Perfect. I think that was it. Just to round up, I would say we're going to have an advanced class on in mid-July, where we put everything together and make how to make a advanced trading plan. And we'll pick up here again and use cycles. We will use different indicators. We will use different formations, whatever. So all of those things that we have been through, I would add them up all together and use them in different ways to go into different trades. So I don't have any more if there's no more questions. So thank you for this time, and hopefully I see you again in mid-July.